Okay, we're live.
Yay, we're live.
Yes. I am Chloe.
I am Sandy.
This
This
is
is
Word
Word
Stitch Tonight,
It's
right?
Night Right. It's Word Stitch Night Right. It's a Word Stitch Night. It's on the Word
Yeah.
Stitch channel. It's here. Wow, my Scrivener won't open, you guys. I hate it when Scrivener is slow to open. What
Oh
is going on?
no. Oh
Open Scrivener. Come
no.
on, you can do this. Let's go. Let's do this thing.
This is like those days when I have the epic battles with Wavemaker to get it to transfer files from my phone to my computer or vice versa. And it's just like, no, I don't want to do this. Like, please, please just do it. Do you think you're gonna have to reboot or?
Oh no, it just opened miraculously. Okay,
Yeah.
yay, good.
So what are you
Great.
working on?
I am working on my Vella project. So this is editing mostly today, but like with the goal of publishing something. So I, not that I'm not always in that goal, but this is like a shorter term goal, so
Yeah.
yeah.
I am working on a short story tonight. I have no idea what that short story is going to be yet. I am finishing getting stuff up right now on Medium, and then once that's done, I will be writing stuff. But I don't know what I'm writing yet. I'm going to go to my book of prompts and see what happens. Right now, the only thing we are doing, the only thing that Sandy is doing right now is Night Right. I am occasionally doing pop-ups for my daytime, the like 10 a.m. show. But my life is in turmoil right now, so I'm not scheduling anything because like I'm not reliable right now, and I don't like not being reliable. So
Yeah, Word Stitches, we're gonna have to we're adjusting our schedules because for me, like 4 to 6 is like prime time for babies, like not only are they awake and not napping, they're like getting baths and like being fussy. And I think that that's not going to end for years.
I think
What?
this is the second Monday that we haven't had, right?
Yeah.
This is just like the last couple of weeks that this has happened. So you are not that far behind the times.
You know what, though? We should consider just doing a night ride on Monday. Like, I don't know. Maybe our crowd would be there. Herb, was that yes? We should consider a night ride on Monday or to something else? I'm not sure. Anyways, we're in a little bit of chaos, both of us.
Yeah.
Chloe's life is insane, and my life is also insane. We're gonna work this out, though. Okay, we're gonna make this happen. Word Stitch is not going to go away because I think, at least for me, I would go mildly insane without this. So I will show up.
Yeah. So we are going to do our first sprint for 10 minutes, and we're going to go from there. But let's get this done. I'm going to get a thing posted. Sandy is going to get herself going in her Vella thing, and we're going to go from there. So we'll see you guys in 10 minutes. Okay, time's up. How did you do, Sandy?
Oh, I was doing really well with that. I'm at like, I don't know, 2/3 of the way through my thing that I'm editing. So, yay. Yes. What about you?
I got that story posted, and then I flipped through some story prompts, and I was like, I don't want to do this, so I'm not going to do that. So I am going to be doing my Vela project. Yeah. I really, you know what actually I should do? This would be a much smarter thing for me to do, is I need to go back and do the edits for Abe's Summer Vacation. I need to do the book cover for Abe's Summer Vacation, but I should probably get that edited so I can like get it out to be a reader magnet before it actually goes live on Amazon. So maybe that's what I'll actually do in the next sprint is write that scene that needs to be written and then do the edits on it.
Yeah. Should is such a good word for a writer. I'm so at like, I should do the thing that's going to keep me enjoying writing right this second. And that's probably not the right way to put it. I should do the thing that will allow me to write and publish and feel productive, right? Because I enjoy the writing no matter what. I just don't have time for it. Well, I'm sure I'm going to have time eventually in my life. Other moms do things with their lives. They do. I'm pretty sure.
You will figure it out. I just realized I remember turning this off the other day, and I don't remember how I turned it off, but like our names are not at the bottom of the screen right now.
Oh, isn't that in?
I thought it was in guests, but it is absolutely not. So is it in brand?
Probably.
Yes, down there at the bottom. I was just recording something, so I didn't want my name at the bottom of the screen. I don't know, StreamYard's just like a really easy way to record stuff. I am comfortable recording things in StreamYard.
No, I totally agree with you. If I were doing like a online class or something right now, I would absolutely record in StreamYard and then like use whatever that video was with the accompanying PowerPoint, or if I couldn't have put it on StreamYard. This is a fantastic program. We could be advertisements for StreamYard, except that we're not making money off of this, but you know, it's a minor point.
One day when we are successful, we can be advertising for StreamYard.
Herb says he's a vote for Monday nights. Monday nights is in like a night write on Mondays, Herb? Well, how would that work for you, Chloe? Like, could you do a Monday night write?
I don't know. I will have an absolute answer by next week, but I might have a thing already on Monday nights that is about to start back up again.
Okay.
Yeah, that is my gaming with Haley night. The game that we try to get like 10 people to play with us, and we're the only ones who like it. So we're like, I guess this is just us now.
You were like, Don't Starve Together game?
Yes.
Which I know nothing about. I would not even know the name of that game, except that you guys have mentioned it that often.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's all right. So, you play Don't Starve Together on her thing or on?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. And I believe she is planning to start it back up on Monday nights, but I will know that for definite next week. So next week we will definitely be on Wednesday, and then after that, if we can't move to Monday, if I'm not doing the thing with Haley, I have absolutely no problems doing it Monday. I can do this most nights for the moment. Once I start going back to work, I don't know if 10 p.m. is going to work for me anymore, but we'll see, right? Herb, the game is Don't Starve Together, which is a really goofy survival game.
What do you play this on? Like, what is your?
It's a computer.
Just a computer?
Yeah. what it is, I guess, yeah, computer is the right term for that, as opposed to console. Yes. Yeah, it's just a goofy little game.
Okay, so the last time that I was into any video game remotely that anybody on this stream would know anything about, it was Monkey Island, and I was in college. It was
I don't
2000.
know. Yeah, I was gonna say I don't even know Monkey Island.
Monkey Island was amazing, but it was a
I
long
had a WoW phase, and then I didn't game for a long time. And then life happened, and now I am playing this one game.
Monkey Island. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say let's go ahead and do our next sprint though.
It is, yes.
Yeah. Oh God, I'm like missing buttons. What am I doing? There we go. I'm real sleepy today. I don't know why. I have been all day. It just is. Oh, you know what? It's because it's been gross and rainy all day. Never mind. I know the answer to that. Anyways, let's go ahead and do 20 minutes. It is 8:21 here in Atlanta, so we'll see you guys at 8:41. Okay, that was time. Sandy, how did you do?
Good. I just finished my my first chapter. Okay. Well, how did you do? And then I I have thoughts.
I fluffed up the area slightly with the airplane. I made it clear that she was afraid of airplanes in that scene at the school.
That's good.
And I bumped the final scene into an epilogue. And I started to write the scene that I need to add, and then immediately had a technical glitch on Microsoft Word that ended up just being like not my own stupidity, but just me writing in a place that had weird formatting. So it wasn't actually a technical glitch at all. I just didn't realize I had put a section break in. And it turns out that because the next line was going to be the epilogue, right? So I put the section break in. And it turns out that because I was typing directly against a section break, my cursor was not moving as I typed spaces, which of course is something that just like looks really alarming that you're not seeing it move when you hit the space bar. But it's just because of Word having a little thing. The spaces are absolutely there. It's just that when there's a section break there, the Word keeps the cursor next to the last letter or the last character, no matter how many spaces come after it. It's just a weird thing that Word does.
I feel like this is something I could understand at 4 in the afternoon on a day when I'm not tired, but
and it's not an actual thing that's happening at all. It's just like the visual of where the blinking cursor is does not move. But if you type 30 spaces in and then you hit a letter, that letter will absolutely be 30 spaces away. It's just that the cursor does not move as you type in those 30 spaces. It's just a weird thing that happens in that particular scenario. But of course, it destroyed my entire world. Oh, I also fixed the smart quotes in it because fuck smart quotes.
I have to fix some smart quotes in mine here. I've got a smart quote problem going on.
I end too many sentences, or I end too much dialogue with M dashes. So I just can't use smart quotes because they will never.
Because they're never happy.
Yeah, they will. Neither Word nor Scrivener will do a closing M or a closing quote after an M dash. I believe both of them always put an open quote after an M dash.
I see what you're saying. That sucks.
Yeah, it should be like that.
But it's not.
And instead, it'll be.
Yeah, that's very weird. Yeah. Okay, but importantly, you are actually working on your edits, right? And that was your goal. So
yeah, and I wrote 63 words of that new scene.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And her got 479 words on a newest short story. So that is far more productive than me. Congratulations. How about you, Sandy? You said that you had a story for yours.
Yeah, no, I did fine with my edits. And then I finished my edits on the first chapter. And then I thought, I've made a lot of changes to names, like good changes where this is a story I started, God, years ago now in 2015 or something like that. But it's always been sort of half-baked. Mm-hmm. And I had issues with names. I was gonna call the law firm Lexer and Lexer, and I've ultimately decided I cannot use anything with the word Lex in it because that implies DC Comics of some kind, and you always confuse people. So those kinds of things.
And automatically, therefore, they're a villainous company.
Yes, they are villainous, but only because they're a law firm,
Well, yeah.
But so I've got like these kinds of things to change, right? So I was like, I should probably, create for myself a little like Bible, right? Like I need to make sure I've got these names figured out. So I like start like running through my Scrivener file. I have done a massive amount of work creating things like character sheets, like massive. And I have them for like a bunch of the main characters, and I've done things like decided which characters are like, so this is a law firm thing. So I actually have a character sheet that says stuff like, in the office, she's the, and then like, she's the attorney I want to, or she's the hero, or she's the smarty psycho. These are actual roles, in my personal opinion, in law firms. But like, I didn't realize I'd done this previously. So my thoughts are like, isn't it crazy when you go back to a project and you're like, whoa, I did a lot of work on this. How am I gonna, like, I don't have time to look at all this work.
Well, I always have the opposite experience, but I appreciate that. Like, oh, I forgot to write down everything.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking, there's no way I've written down everything. Like, I could not possibly be that organized. But no, I was fairly good. I think I may even have written out the God, I have like a whole scandal timeline with like 20 index cards.
That's fantastic.
It is. It's very weird. Oh my God, did I do like a Eon timeline thing with this?
Even better.
I might have, you guys. I may have actually put this into a timeline program because I'm that person. I did.
Nice. Wow. I started listening to Journeys in Romance again. I'm trying to force myself to go out and walk because I'm doing Pokemon again. It is what it is. We just have to accept this and move on. I want to listen to that podcast though. But the last one I listened to, she mentioned that she started her first story in law school. And I was like, oh my God, here's another Sandy. Because, there are so many.
Yeah.
So many of these podcasts were, people who do have law degrees that like are now romance writers instead. And then like 3/4 of the way through the podcast, they mentioned how her practice was currently thriving. And I was like, oh, I guess she's not a Sandy then.
Yeah, she actually enjoyed working for a law firm. This is I only enjoy setting law firms as like evil, villainous places. Otherwise, totally not so much. Yeah. So that's
but like I feel like this is the first time I've ever come across one who is still in practice, except that there was, I believe, one who still does like on the side IP stuff, which totally makes sense. Like she does, IP stuff for friends, like, but yeah, that was just like one of those amusing, like, oh my God, here's another law reject. Oh no, she actually just stuck with it.
Importantly, the law does not reject you. You reject the law.
Oh yeah.
The law would just be willing to eat you up.
That was what I meant by that. If that came out the other way, that wasn't what I meant.
No, it's it. I understand. It's a funny kind of thing. Wow, I feel really good to be like making progress. That being said, I'm going to spend at least half of the next writing thing going to find dinner.
It's fair. You should absolutely do that.
It's important to eat. Okay.
Yeah. So 20 minutes on the clock.
Yeah.
All right. We will see you guys at 11 past. Okay, we are back. Did you get any work done, Sandy, or did you just get food, which is fine if that's all you did?
I didn't have time to get food. I went downstairs. Food was not ready, so I didn't
Gotcha.
have time to wait for it. So I came back up and got work done.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's amazing how much I can get done in like 20 minutes right this second. Seriously.
Just right this second. Wow, this thing. I'm sorry, my story is like all the formatting's all jacked up right now, and I just realized how jacked up it is. Anyways, I'll deal with that later. So you said you did get work done, sorry.
Yeah, I moved on to the second chapter. I think I've got like 4 or 5 chapters that are written, and then hopefully that will give me enough of a start to like enjoy drafting the others like one at a time. We were talking about this. We're on a Vela thing kind of right now, everyone. So
Everybody.
I am working on yeah. Well, you're always publishing other stuff too, right? But like you're working on a Vela thing, and so am I. And Vela's
Actually,
mostly
I'm working on Abe's right now.
what?
I jumped 8 million times, so I'm working on Abe's right now. Abe's
Right. But
yeah.
generally speaking, like you have a Vela.
Oh, yes. I have like 8 million projects going on right this very second. Yes.
Yeah. And we were talking about how often we thought we would need to publish. So Chloe thinks potentially a couple times a week, maybe more, at least once a week. There is no way I'm going to be able to do more than once a week. I'm going to have to keep it at that. That's just
Well, that's also why you stockpile and you don't immediately put out everything you have when it goes live.
I thought that Amazon wanted you to have at least like 5 chapters or something.
Right, but like if you have 15 chapters written before it goes live, don't put all 15 of them up immediately.
Oh, yes. That's a nice thought to have like 15 chapters written by the time they go
we
live.
don't know when this is coming out, so 15 might actually be feasible for all we know. This might not be out until August for all we know.
I mean, that's a really good point. Like I should set my, I don't know, first 5 or 7 or whatever chapters up, and then just like try to publish one a week, like they're like draft and publish one a week.
Yes.
I do have, so my first chapter is like 3,500 words or something like that. The second chapter is only like 2,500 words. So now I'm thinking, did I need to add another scene? Did I screw that up?
I don't know if it matters so much for Vela.
Yeah, it probably doesn't.
I will say, I mean, kind of it doesn't matter for anything, right? Like that's like if anything, 3,500 is a bit long for a chapter now.
Yeah. It felt long. It felt long, but I'm not editing that down.
I actually have almost 9,000 words for the first 3 chapters. I've got 3,000 and then 2,980 and then 2,782. And those are my first 3 chapters, but I don't know why my voice keeps breaking tonight. If you're wondering if like I was having sound issues or if that was my voice, it's my voice. Anyways, I'm probably just getting sick. Anyways,
you said you had 9,000 words for your first
3, like all 3, like my first 3 chapters are all about 3,000 words. So I've got about 9,000 words here. That is unedited, so that will be cut down some. I don't think it's going to be cut down that much though, and I think that's actually kind of a lot for the first 3 chapters of anything, right? But for this, because it's kind of what you're using to bring people in, I feel like it's better for it to be long, or it's more honest for the first 3 chapters to be long.
So in like the YA world where I was doing the fantasy stuff, I had no problem writing a 3,000 word chapter. Like that was, in fact, I often have to like cut it. Like I have to tell myself I cannot write 4,000 word chapters. Like they must be shorter. But honestly, like when you're publishing those and you put them in like the paperback, that only adds up to like 12 pages or something. So it doesn't look like as much as you would think. But I think the romance genre is a little bit different. I feel like your chapters can be shorter. Need to be shorter.
It's not even just the romance genre, it's the serialized fiction.
Yeah.
I feel like it's pretty normal for most readers with serialized fiction to actually get a bit fatigued if a episode goes too long. That they kind of just want to know, I feel like it's a lot more cut down and they really just want to get like more the bigger punches than a whole lot of filler words in it. Especially like not even like I don't even think it's a conscious thing, the fact that they are paying for each word, but even like at a subconscious level, the fact that they have to pay for each word kind of makes, well, let's just do it. Let's just tell me the story. Just tell me the story. Don't bog it down with stuff.
Well, that's really interesting. I wouldn't have thought about it in terms of the money like that. Like I was just wondering, and I don't know if this is comparison, but I was just wondering, like, is the fan fiction world comparable in that sense at all? Because what I remember from fan fiction is that if the story was at all compelling, but the writing sucked, then like I definitely didn't want long chapters, right? Like I just wanted that author to like spit out whatever and then like let me read it, and I wanted to make sure that they were finishing their stuff. But that was, I mean, that's not the stuff that I would have looked for. Like I was looking for the higher quality stuff, which makes me wonder, like in the fan fiction realm, like there's kind of like a candy that you're feeding your reader, right? Like in fan fiction, there's always like a particular relationship that you're trying to build, or a sort of like something that didn't happen that your reader really a reveal, I don't know, a death, something that a non-death alternative reality, right, that your reader really wants to see, and that's the candy. But I don't know what that would be like for Vella. Like when you're doing regular serialized fiction, what's the candy? Is it
right?
Is it different, do you think?
I feel like comparing it to fan fiction is not a bad comparison at all. Where people just kind of want to know what's happening. Like, just tell me what is this craziness that you're coming up with? Tell me what you've come up with. Tell me why your stuff is different from other stuff. The other thing is that these are readers. So we're looking at like YouTube culture. We're looking at TikTok culture. That's who our readers are going to be. These are not people who spend hours looking at this one thing. They want to get the punch and then bounce to the next thing. And that's very much what, from the sounds of it, also how they're going to be advertising Vella as something that like you read that chapter while you're on the subway going home, or you read that chapter between classes, or you read that chapter between projects, and that they're not expecting you to sit there and read it for hours and hours and hours like you would a normal book.
Yeah, but so here's, I think, the tricky thing to this is in the fan fiction realm, you only want the punch if the writing kind of sucks. If the writing is good, you want it to be longer and you feel annoyed if it's not. So like, and also you're willing to wait longer for it. Like I remember I would wait, like months for like stories that I really liked to come out, and I'd be following those stories. Like I'd be paying attention because I'm that kind of crazy person. But I don't think that's abnormal for readers. I think if they actually enjoy something, they'll wait for it. Not months, I'm sure, but like, I don't know. So I'm wondering, like, is there some value to going slightly higher quality on the grounds that it's going to take longer. You won't be able to publish more than once, maybe even every other week, but your readers might perceive it as a slightly different. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, you need a following, right? Like, what you don't want is for people to read your stories fast and then like give you a thumbs down because they think it's low quality stuff, and then like treat you like disposable diapers.
Yeah. So I think to that end, you definitely don't want to do low quality, but
like Pampers is high quality, but there's still disposable diapers. You know, like we're not really saying like do you want to be like, you know, bad quality. We're saying, do you want to be Pampers or do you want to be cloth diapers? And like, is there an audience out there for cloth diapers? This is where my mind goes when I've gotten a little tiny bit of sleep, but not much.
You've got a baby. This is baby life right here. Yeah. Let's do our next sprint. We're going for 20. It is 22 past, so we'll see you guys at 42 past. We will do one more sprint after this one. Okay, time on that sprint. Did you eat dinner, Sandy?
Yes.
Good.
Yeah. Also got a little bit more work done, so I'm moving on to the second chapter.
I also got some work done. I have no idea how much. I'm like writing into the middle of a scene. So, and like I wrote probably 200 words that I was done like, you know what? I didn't need any of that. So, all told, I've only written 583 words, though, even counting that 200 words. Whatever. I'm making progress. It is slow progress, but it is progress.
Yes, and progress is progress.
Yes.
Oh, it looks like Leah got 200 words. Yay!
Yeah, that's probably more than I got
in. Me too. I don't think I'm going to track words right now. I think I'm just going to try to make progress. I don't feel like I have time to track words. How crazy is that?
Right. Just do it. I'm like self-editing like crazy on my Vela thing, and I don't know if it is a subconscious thing because I know I'm not going to be able to like finish it and go back and edit. Obviously, I'm going to do editing passes on this, but I don't know if that's what it is or if I'm just like a train wreck right now. So I don't have shit nearly as well together as usual. I don't know what it is, but every time I do any sort of a writing sprint, when I look down for the Vela thing, it'll be 20 minutes and I'll have written like 100 words. Like, I did spend most of that like going up there and fixing all of those details. So I guess this is very hard.
No, I don't think that's weird for Vela. I mean, I think that we have to keep in mind that like serialized fiction like this lends itself to fast writing and quick editing, like
Yes.
You can't publish fast, even if you're doing it like slow fast and expect to spend, you're not going to write like 20 drafts. You're not going to like run your first chapter by a critique group. You're not
Exactly.
going to hire an editor because you're also responding to the audience, right? So like, I mean, part of the interesting thing about this is that the audience can actually like write comments to you. So in real time, you could like get a comment and be like,
oh it looks like they're not going to be able to, at least in the beginning.
Oh, no comments?
Yeah.
Did that change?
So it's I feel like the information was given to us really weirdly. There is this whole thing about how we can write comments.
Yes.
But their interactions are likes and something else.
Huh.
That is not comments, and I don't remember what it is now. So now I'm feeling dumb for even
Is it like a follow? Can they like follow you or like you?
I would think that a like would do that as well, but who knows with this? You would think that from Amazon's perspective, if you liked a scene, they would absolutely then encourage you to read the next scene. Reader engagement. Let me go to this now. Oh, so there is the weekly fave for the story they enjoyed the most. And then there are also thumbs up that can be given out however you choose. And then also follows. Those are the 3 engagements.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a bummer. So they can't actually come, but still, they're responding in real time, right? So you could still, I mean, you could be looking at what people are doing with your first chapter, and if they're giving it thumbs down, then that could change the direction you write in. Which is all to say you're not going to be like finishing the whole thing and then publishing it, right? Like,
right.
You're going to write one chapter at a time and try to like back yourself into corners as often as possible.
Yes. Like the way mine is it can be open-ended that I can kind of end anytime. I mean, it'll take like, 10 more episodes or whatever to end it, but at any point I can I can flip out that like final plot arc, you know? So that's how I'm doing it. And then like whatever happens in between, and I can like throw a whole bunch of plots in. And yes, Leah does make a good point here. That it would invite trolls galore. I clicked on the wrong thing as I said that. But yeah, stuff like this book sucks. Yeah. This writer is stupid.
Yeah.
Yes. And actually this literally just happened in my Medium short story group where somebody just had this happen to them. Only this one incident was talked about. It doesn't happen that often there, but it could potentially happen. I like to think that Amazon is a slightly better community than that, but who knows?
Amazon would be a way worse community. Amazon is absolutely everybody in the entire planet.
So you say that, and yet I look at all of the bullshit that happens every goddamn day of my life on Goodreads, and none of it happens on Amazon. My ratings are great on Amazon.
Okay, that's a good point. That's a good point. Amazon at least has its shit together. Yeah.
Right. But also it doesn't really matter because this isn't going to happen. And yes, as Leah said, there are trolls everywhere. But I do also, like I said, from Medium, like this really does not happen very often on Medium. So it does happen everywhere, but like certainly I feel like it would be happening more on a place like Wattpad than it would on an Amazon, but I still think it will be a problem. And you're right. It's better off for it not being a problem. But I was going to ask you, Sandy, have you actually posted any episodes yet?
I have not published any episodes yet. I've started like copying and pasting them in.
So
I've published my story, but I haven't, you know what I mean? Like I've got it set up to, like you have to actually click publish, I think, to have the story there to begin with. And then you start publishing episodes?
No, the reason I ask is I'm wondering if in your comments you can literally like put a link to your Twitter account and be like, hey, tweet me what you thought of this scene. You know, like I wonder if there is going to be like a fairly easy backdoor for it. And yes, Leah, you're totally right. Goodreads is not for authors. Technically, neither are Amazon Amazon reviews. But yeah, it is something that like it changed ages ago. Right now, I have an issue where I've been having like back to back readers who are clearly reading my books and then just giving them all 3 stars and completely demolishing my rating because I don't have a ton of ratings yet. And like, I feel like, and again, obviously, like this isn't going into my Amazon reviews, my Amazon ratings are fantastic. But like for some reason people, and I've heard people say that yes, they absolutely will like give something like something is an Amazon 5-star, but it's a Goodreads 2-star. Like I've absolutely heard that shit before. That it's almost like these people are just marking that they have read my books. And that because they weren't their favoriteest thing ever. They just like everything gets 3 stars unless it's literally Pride and Prejudice, which I've seen before.
You know what I think is really interesting about this whole thing with Bella then? So like there isn't a thumbs down. You can get a favorite, you can get thumbs up, or you could be followed, but you can't be thumbs down. So that's actually a very interesting, like positive experience for an author, right? It means that like you never get trolled. And if people like your story, they can tell you that. I mean, that's that could be like really super validating if anybody reads.
Yes. Right, if you actually get validated.
But if they don't, then it's not like you never get an opportunity for somebody to be like, wow, this author screwed up absolutely everything. Like people like to do on Goodreads. And and from Leah's point, Goodreads is not for authors. Okay, I've heard that many, many times before. I gotta tell you, like tonight that hit me a little bit differently in the sense of like, wow, like Goodreads really isn't meant for authors. Like it's not
No.
there to validate authors. It's not there to help you in any way. It's only there for readers to document their stuff. So why on earth do we ever look at Goodreads?
Yeah, and it's very anti-authors. Like there's absolutely no recourse for authors. It's almost impossible for authors to even like edit their stuff. Like it's I don't know, it's a really strange environment. And I totally support not checking yours. I am just a data whore, even if the data is bad data. And unfortunately, Goodreads throws a whole bunch of numbers my way that I tell myself not to look at, but I get morbidly curious about it. And here we are.
But this
Um,
is I meant to click this one. I'm with you, Leah. It's bad for Creative Happy Mojo, and
yeah,
yes, bad reviews crush my soul. So like I I'm also kind of a data person, but but it crushes my soul too much. I don't look at my Goodreads account either, and unless
yeah,
I only when I get really super neurotic and start thinking, I should really make sure that these books are all counted in a series or something. But
yeah.
honestly, like the first thing that I will have a personal assistant do if I ever get to the point where I have one of those people is manage my Goodreads account for me because I don't want to see it like
The
at
funny
all.
thing for me is that I have tons of bad ratings. I don't have a single bad review.
That's so
Um,
interesting.
yeah, my lowest review, I've got 2 3-star. I think I've got 3 now. 3 3-star actual reviews. And of course I've got tons more 3 stars ratings, as I was just complaining about, that people love to just throw dozens of 3-star ratings at me. But I have these 3 3-star reviews, and 2 of them were, I don't read this genre. That like, how do I? Okay, I don't know why you read mine then. And then the third one was for one for my demon romance, and it happened to be from somebody who liked the series before, but she's very religious, and so she was bothered by my portrayal of certain things, and I believe it was Verity. Which again was kind of weird, but also she was like, I really liked it. I was just like really bothered by these specific things. And I was like, okay, I accept this as a review. Um, it is what it is. And that is terrible. My first graders can write better than this. People are awful. We should do one more sprint.
Mhm.
I can survive another 20. Can you?
I can do 20 and then we'll have to go.
Okay. So we are doing one more 20-minute sprint, putting that 20 minutes on the clock. We will see you guys, oh God, at 14 past. Good luck, everybody. 16 past? I can't even do math at this hour. We'll see you guys in 20 minutes. Okay, that is time. Sandy is still working.
I'm not. I'm aware that we're still doing the thing. I was still working, but that's good, right? I didn't
Yes.
work the entire time. I had to go down and worry about putting away dishes, and my husband brought cupcakes home from the grocery store. But
Nice.
other than that, I worked.
I got this scene up to oh, I got this scene up to 845 words, but that doesn't count what I chopped out of it. So
That's good.
I wrote almost 1,000 words, and I got that book up, or that short story up. I got stuff done today.
Excellent
Yeah.
work. This was a good session. I feel like I'm being more and more productive on these, and I think that these are good.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're actual work sessions. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Which I think on Mondays sometimes I become too busy to actually work. So
Yeah, it's a hard time slot for you now. It wasn't, but now it is.
now it is. Now it is. Yeah, now it is. My life is all
Yeah.
and I don't think
Leah got 35 on a connecting scene, trying to make it interesting. Those are
hard. Those are
yeah.
hard.
I stress so much about them, especially like it became a major stressor with me. It's part of why I stopped working on the sci-fi, the alien romance, was because I felt like everything was connecting scene because I didn't have enough action in it. But the series that I'm reading now, that's sci-fi romance, has kind of a similar vibe. It's a very different story from mine, but it's got kind of a similar vibe to it that I'm like, oh, you know what? These scenes are not nearly as action packed either, so maybe I'm okay. But yeah, connecting scenes are a weird stressor. Like, yes, no action, but character building and making sure it isn't a white room. Exactly. Yes.
That's a really good way to put it.
Yeah.
That's like a really, really useful little, I don't know, memory device.
Yeah.
Making
Yeah,
sure
and you need those scenes. They're absolutely essential scenes. But it's what they're essential for is more subtle, right? Because they're for character building. And from the reader's perspective, they don't necessarily get the full value of this scene if you don't stuff it with a whole bunch of stuff. Like for me, I think part of it is just because I naturally really like dialogue. Normally, if I'm skimming, it's because I'm skimming to get to more dialogue. But I know that I'm not necessarily the typical reader in that.
Ooh,
And I
think
feel
you're
like,
more typical than you think.
well, I've also been criticized for not having nearly enough description in my books. So there's certainly both sides on it.
Yeah, fair enough.
And for me, like, I don't care about description a lot. Like, I want to know what the action is, and I want to know what the dialogue is, and I want to know how those characters are being built and what the world looks like. I don't care. A lot of people do care about that, and I don't. So for me, those connecting scenes, like when I read them, I'm more comfortable. Like I'm totally fine with them if nothing happens except for a whole creepy conversation. But I know a lot of people are not happy with that. Again, because they don't necessarily get the value in that.
Yeah, but I think the sort of concept of making sure it isn't a white room, it doesn't require you to be super descriptive, right? Like we're just saying, like, can you splash a little tiny bit of color in there so that your characters aren't floating talking heads?
Exactly.
I like that. I like that. I think that's what we're always trying to do, you know, but sometimes it's useful to have a way to put what you're trying to do. Oh,
yes.
that's what's going on here. I suppose that's what I've been working on this last sprint also. I'm in a connecting scene. I'm trying to ground it in a few things and make it more than talking heads.
Yeah. And
Although,
that's also, it's funny because that's also something that ties into the whole Vela conversation. We are done, by the way. That was our last sprint.
that was our last sprint.
Clear. We
We
just always have this little bit of a closing conversation here. But with Vela, that's also a fear with that, that people aren't going to keep going if there is a connecting scene that is that not necessarily floating talking heads in space, but you know, you have that fear that, well, I didn't put enough action in this scene, so maybe people are going to get bored of it if they can't just immediately keep going. And maybe I don't write these scenes, but also you have to have those scenes.
I mean, I think that the thing that you have to have is every episode has to have something that satisfies the reader, right? Like there has to be a reward for whatever it is that you're reading.
I guess it's that, you know what? It's what we were complaining about with Handmaid's Tale earlier today.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, a lot of Handmaid's Tale episodes. I love it. Sandy does not. But a lot of them are 45 minutes of like not a whole lot happening. And then suddenly those last 2 minutes, oh my God, I have to know what happens after these last 2 minutes because that was crazy. And that's exactly where we are after this last episode. I'm not going to talk about what happened in the last episode, but that's exactly what happened in the last episode. Just like a whole bunch of nothing. I zoned out through half of it. I tried to pay attention and I couldn't because I was sitting in front of my computer and I was like, well, I could be working right now. And then those last couple of minutes, like, now I have to know what happens in the next episode.
That's interesting. Leah says that she once read a debut book set in the 20s about a woman lawyer, and that the description of the opening scene was just a law office. This is yeah, you're kind of like hitting a bunch of things that I actually find relevant right this second, like randomly, because my thing that I'm writing is a law firm thriller, and and I worked in a law firm before I quit. So what's hard about that is that when you've worked someplace, in your mind, none of it is interesting, right? Like, who wants to know what the hallways look like? Or like, do you really care that the secretary's desks always had potted plants on them? Like, do we need
and especially with the office environment, I'm sure you're thinking, well, everybody knows what an office looks like, whatever.
Yeah.
Yes, but yeah, I totally agree. It's so funny because again, it's going back to that balancing act, because the flip side of that is, how many books have you read that the entire first chapter is just like all exposition and description and nothing is happening? You're like, I didn't come here to read somebody's essay on what this world looks like. I came here to read a story. So it's one of those balances. Like, you have to have some description, absolutely. But then I think some authors get scared when they're told not to do any exposition, and they end up trouncing all of their description in order to avoid exposition, where you absolutely do need those details there to really get the reader into that headspace.
I mean, and there's also a question of like, is the reader going to think the details that you are giving them are appropriate? Like Leah's saying stuff like shine of a mahogany desk, clack of heels on the marble floor, pillars in the front. Yes, like those things might exist, but also they would be really cliche. Like every desk is mahogany in these like great big offices. But I mean, you know, I suppose like the question is what's on the desk, or but maybe that's not something somebody cares about. Like, I don't know. What I noted in mine is that it was freezing, and that's how those offices always were. Freaking
that's also a really good detail. That is like, what sweaters are they wearing then, you know?
Yeah, there's a sweater in it.
And as Leah points out, it's so easy to add those that even if every single desk is mahogany, you can still add that just by saying that they're sitting at a desk. Well, why not say it's a mahogany desk? Like it's not, it's,
But the reason not to say it is because every word like that takes up reader attention space, right? So like you do have to pick what you want them to see.
Oh, this is fair, but when you are talking about those single words spread out, it's a lot less distracting than if you just have a paragraph describing that office.
Yeah, totally fair, totally fair. Yeah, no, but they're good reminders because I am like you. I skip a massive amount of stuff, and this particular thing that I'm working on. So weirdly, I didn't skip a lot of stuff. I did skip like what the office actually looked like in terms of like I haven't yet decided if the walls are clear, but I do have my character drinking like a sour caramel latte because that's the kind of thing a lawyer who'd been up until midnight would do. She'd drink the latte even if the milk was sour because she needed the coffee that bad. Or like I would think of, I don't know, so and what I'm saying is I was actually fairly descriptive in ways I'm not normally, and it's weird. It's not my norm. Like it's not what I like. I don't reading this stuff. It's too tedious. I don't have the attention span to read something like that. So it's very, very strange. And I think it's good to even get a reminder of what people are looking for. So thank you, Leah, for showing up and potentially making my novel better.
Reminding her that we should know what the desks are made of. Because what if some people have glass desks? And what if some of them have like metal desks? Desks can be out of all kinds of materials.
Oh, not a law firm. Well, I suppose if they're one of those new age places where people wear jeans.
Well, then there you go. That's another thing that you can use as a description for the desk. You can point out that, whether she wants that or whether she is comforted by the fact that it is an old school law firm as opposed to some, California, whatever. I don't know. But yeah, all of that stuff is good. I mean, and I realize that mine is a little, like, I say a little, but a way more novelty than yours. But mine starts out in a bar, but it's a piano bar, and they're all in costume, and it's a whole thing. Fun. And then the next scene in it, this is funny because 1920s there. The next scene, so it's, again, this is Portal stuff that I'm writing. The next scene, they end up in New Orleans where one of the students is causing trouble because he has done this like slip portal where the bar that he is in like modern day New Orleans, but it is the 1920s version of it. So they walk in and she's immediately jealous because this is authentic, whereas hers was her just like trying her best to give it that like old school vibe. And then she walks into this place. She doesn't understand what's going on, that it's literally a speakeasy that she's walked into. But she's like, oh my God, you did so much better at this than me. Look at that old, like, like, why am I blanking on the name? Cash register that they're using and stuff like that. But yeah, like there's, no matter what it is, there's still details to be had in it. Even if the detail is that it looks just like every other one.
No, this is actually going to help me significantly today. I've just been thinking the scene is short. Like, why is it short? There's action in here. So how come the scene is short? And I think it is because I am failing to, oh my God. And yes, this is exactly the problem. Okay. Like, this is what I hate. The Outlander.
Somebody talks about that.
It drives me batshit crazy. I couldn't even finish Outlander for various reasons, but like one was the ridiculous amount of description. I don't read historic romance normally. I would never read historic romance normally. Outlander is an exception to the rule because it was so popular. And oh my God, like I don't need to know what every flower looks like.
The
But
drape of the curtains.
yeah, but I will tell you, like, I was not going to describe my lawyer's desk. However,
That can also
oh no,
show
wait,
up
I
in
did
the
describe
they
some of
are.
it. Oh my God, I was doing so much better 5 years ago. Apparently, I actually wrote that there was a fancy silver monogrammed business card holder on it and a popsicle stick picture frame with her twin nieces.
Oh my God, that shows so much right there. Like you
I was
said,
a
it's
better
not just
writer
like
like
what the
5
desk
years
is, but
ago.
what's on that desk. How organized is that desk? Like, there's what did they choose for their accents on their desk?
Yeah, that's, yeah, huh.
Yeah. We should
Well,
call it a night, though.
yeah, we should. Thank you, Leah. I appreciate your help.
So we are definitely going to be back next Wednesday at this time.
Oh, I might not be. My mother's coming in town, and I think she's going to be here on Wednesday, so I may not be able to do Wednesday. I'm sorry.
So we'll know what our schedule is sometime later. I am still trying to do the 10 a.m. Eastern time sprints.
Oh, wow.
I just forgot that I was going to do it, and I forgot that I was conflicting with somebody who I like to watch. So that sounded really creepy. You knew what I meant, though.
On YouTube, as a writer.
But I am going to try to do 10 a.m. tomorrow. I think I'm absolutely going to do 10 a.m. tomorrow. And then we'll go from there. Again, we're just free-forming it right now, but like,
Yeah.
Follow us and you'll get the little updates when we go live. It's always the same show, 10 and 20-minute sprints. We're pretty solid on that. But you guys all have a great day, and thank you for watching, and we will see you all later.
Thank you. Bye.